What's up, bro?
Yo, hope y'all can hear me. What's up? What's up? I'm just waiting for my co-host to get up in here. What's up, bro?
Sam, am I audible? What's up? What's up?
What's up? How you doing? I think you're frozen, bro. Yeah, bro, you're frozen. You might need to try leaving and joining back. Hey, bro, just try to join back.
Is my voice audible, Sam? You hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
perfect, perfect. So,
What's up?
how's everything?
Uh, I'm
Finally,
good. How you doing?
finally good to meet you, man. Finally great to meet you.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Last week,
that day,
last
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So how's everything? How's your funded journey?
Um, it's been going good.
All right.
I'm right now I'm still on demo, but I
Okay.
just I
Mm,
for the time being, I just want to really get my strategy down before I actually
mm.
get on the funded.
All right, all right. So you use SMC specifically, or basically SMC is an ICT's version. So what kind of strategy do you use personally?
So I don't know if you know TJR Trades, but I
Yeah, I do
learned from
know.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I learned from
That's
him.
good.
Um,
Mm.
I went through his whole boot camp last year. I
All
was
right.
there when it
Okay.
started,
Oh.
and basically it's all about liquidity sweeps, fair
Yeah,
value gaps,
yeah,
order blocks, and equilibrium, and
yeah,
that's about it.
yeah. No, that's perfect. Because I personally do the same thing. I only trade turtle soups, the 15-minute strategy, and I just go hop off the higher time frame.
Hmm.
Against the I never go against the trend, so that's the reason I get like three, maybe two, three setups per week. But that's about it. Pretty high accurate, I would say.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
especially last week due to the CPI, you did get a pretty good selling trade. I only trade Euro USD, so I prefer sticking to only one pair. It's better to stick with one pair rather than multiple pairs. So what do you do? Nasdaq? I've seen some
yeah,
of your videos
yeah,
on Nasdaq.
mostly Nasdaq.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
also trade SPX 500. Sometimes I trade
Okay.
gold, but there's
Mm.
usually not a lot of setups that I see on gold.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, that's completely that thing. Because gold for me, it really scares me because it just doesn't give a shit about the technical analysis. So let's just say that it always finds a way to sweep the liquidity and just go to the direction. But I
Yeah,
prefer currencies over all the other market. I'm
yeah,
actually trying to switch to futures because Forex is manipulated, man. It's too much.
I know.
The spreads and all
I-
that shit. All the prop firm industry right now is going through a lot. So that's
Yeah,
yeah.
I know that most people are not able to use meta quotes anymore. I don't know if
Mm.
you are in the at least in the
No,
United States.
yeah. I do have a funded account with Alpha Capital, so that they are still in the MetaQuotes industry. But other than that, I do have TFT and Funding Whips, and most of them are just three C traders or match traders or Trade Locker.
Yeah,
But for me personally, I do like Trade Locker better than the MT5 because you can directly execute it with the live market. It's pretty good, I would say.
yeah.
And
I
yeah,
definitely think about switching to futures after I
yeah,
get my
yeah,
funded. Yeah, I'm gonna go
yeah.
back to futures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. Because futures market, especially, it respects the technical analysis. I prefer because even in the ICT's videos, he always prefers a future market. Let's just say NAS 100. I don't know why, but the market seems to move pretty good. Let's just say that, and it respects all the fair value gaps and whatnot. But in the forex, it's almost everything is manipulated. But yeah, you can get consistent in both of them, but I would say you'll get a better result in futures than forex industry. I personally believe that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, ultimately in this game, you just need capital, right?
Hmm.
So Propform did help us a lot. It's gonna help a lot of good traders as well. So the only thing that we need to worry about is getting the skill and following the rules of a particular strategy. Any strategy is profitable, I believe.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can literally flip a coin during London session and New York session, follow a trend line based strategy. You'll still be profitable at the end of the month. But the only thing is people don't stick to the rules. That's it.
Yeah.
People just don't find that in their hearts to stick to the rules. They just think that just because they lost like a couple trades in a row, they think the complete strategy is bullshit and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's where the issue lies with people. What do you think about that?
Me personally, I was trading on a live account, and I was seeing
Yeah.
that I was if I hadn't taken a trade in a couple of days, then I would like
Mm.
force a trade. So
Yeah.
that's why I ended up going back to demo because
Mm.
I really I didn't want to keep forcing trades and losing
Yeah.
more and more money. So I
Yeah.
just really wanted to refine my skills and especially my psychology because
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
important.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely makes a lot of sense with that. But yeah, again, let me see where my books are. So these are my go-to books. The Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas and The
Hmm.
Disciplined Trader. So these are my like go-to books. I've read them almost, it says 10 to 15 times. Every single time I had a bad day, I just read them, a couple keynotes, and he really digs into the psychology. Like he gives you why you're acting like that and why you shouldn't be acting like that. So I would say it's a very good book for all the beginner traders who are actually
Hmm.
starting out right now.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I started
80% is
trading in the zone.
psychology. Yeah.
I started like
Yeah, yeah,
last week.
that's
It's been pretty good.
good. That's good. It's you'll get a lot of let's just say you'll become overconfident just by reading through the book. It gives you a lot of confidence. It's just like it's always right in front of you, but you will not recognize the issue. And in that book, you will definitely undergo that issue. But yeah, you have to maintain the same level of zone. You can't just go up and down with your psychology, right? So you just
Yeah.
have to put the rules in the set. So
I
that's the
always
thing.
see a lot of people like, especially on Instagram and TikTok, that they
Yeah.
always are either getting super crazy happy about a win or freaking out about a
Yeah, yeah.
loss,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
that's something you
Just,
definitely cannot do.
I would say that, I mean, even me personally, when I started out trading, I just went to some random signal groups and stuff like that. It's just crazy because they tell you that they'll have a 70% or 80% win rate throughout the week, and they keep on posting the what do you call the entries and
Hmm.
exits. So we all fall into the trap, right? The signal group and all. So we just pay trading. But it just doesn't work like that. I don't know why. Even if you follow my trades, let's just say I post my entries and I do live trading every single day. Let's just say that. But even then, you can't really be profitable maybe after a couple months.
Yeah.
So maybe you will be profitable a week or two, but then the student will break his own rules, right? He wouldn't just copy my trades. He would try to modify them, modify the stop loss and whatnot. He wouldn't just stick to the rules. So I personally believe that it is just mandatory to lose a huge amount of money to the person's capacity to actually understand that there are no shortcuts in this industry, particularly. It's just not easy money. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that has to go through the person's mind to actually trade consistently.
And people also need to understand that going to signal groups is just
Yeah,
like it's messing with your head and you're not
yeah,
going to become profitable. Like
exactly,
let's say that
exactly.
person stops if that person stops posting, then
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Like
he's
you
just
just need
back
to
to
learn the
square
skill.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's essentially no shortcut into trading, and people try to what do you call suggest that just by following a profitable trader, even if he's a proven profitable trader, let's just say Paladin gives out signals, still you wouldn't make money consistently. Maybe you would pass a challenge, maybe you would get let's just say two, three payouts, but after then, I don't think the psychology will kick you back to square one. It's just a part of the game. There are essentially no shortcuts, and people need to understand that. There's no particular way for us to actually convince them that there are no shortcuts, and they wouldn't believe that. So yeah. So how old are you again,
I'm
Sai?
16.
You're 16.
Yeah.
How what did your parents actually know about this? You're starting out trading, you're making money with that. What's your
I
parents'
actually,
view on that?
uh, my parents have actually been very supportive. I know that's not something everybody can say,
Yeah,
but
nah, yeah,
my
exactly.
parents
Mm.
actually think it's good that I'm starting to do something. Like I'm also
No, that's
working
good.
at the same time. So
Okay, okay.
and I've also like this isn't the first thing I've done. Like I used to
Yeah.
try drop shipping. I used
All right,
to
all right.
like try to wash people's cars. So like I've always had like a
Okay.
business mindset for a long
That's good.
time, and I think they know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you're really lucky that you had supportive parents, but that's not the case with 90% of the people. Even in my
Yeah.
scenario, my parents weren't supportive at all. So I was a med school student.
Hmm.
So I was in med school. I'm still in med school. So currently I'm doing the year, but I wanted to drop out. So my parents were like, no, you can't drop out because I was paying $30,000 per year, and it was like a 5-year course. So it's just essentially a waste of money if I just drop out, right? But then the only way to prove, so I'm Asian, I'm Indian, right? We
Hmm.
have the Indian parent mindset that no, you can't do that, and you only have to follow the traditional pattern, right?
Yeah.
So they don't know anything about this trading. They think it's gambling and all. So it's really common for all the parents, not only Asians. All the parents will think, and essentially they are kind of right. Trading is essentially a gambling with a statistical edge. That's it. So 95% of all the traders will fail because they don't encounter the statistical edge over that. So that's the
Hmm.
only issue with that. But then again, the only way I could actually stop my parents from being forced me into the college was to prove them that I'm earning money, right?
Yeah.
So I think I started out with a 5K as usual with my funded FX was my first prop firm. Just blew that. I mean, I blew like $2,000 worth of challenges directly. And a funny story, then I met my mentor who was, he doesn't have any social media, but he's Suraj. He is a ICT chartered student.
Hmm.
So from 2016 to 2018, he was one of the ICT's chartered student, and he was very close to me. And he was making money at that time, or so did I actually think. He wasn't actually making money, but he wasn't losing the money either. That's a really good achievement in the forex industry. It's one thing to make money; it's another thing to at least not lose money, right?
Yeah.
So he's still in the break-even phase. So he just guided me all the steps, and I basically didn't make all the mistakes that all the beginners would, right? They would go with the fucking indicators for a month. They would switch to trend lines for a month. They'll switch all the strategies, right? So he just asked me to stick to a particular strategy, not even ICT. I don't particularly like ICT because ICT is really, really hard,
Hmm.
right? Even SMC is really hard. When you compare it with trend lines or EMA or whatnot, they are still profitable. I can bet that they are really profitable. But ICT and SMC gives you an edge of where the market is going before you know it, right? Even if it hits a stop loss, you know the reason why it hits the stop
Yeah.
loss. Even if it hits a TP, you know the reason why. But in trend lines, it's basically it doesn't give you the reasons. That's why the psychology gets fucked right there.
Hmm.
So that's the main concern with ICT. So I just started with ICT and I just put my last money with that and I just bought a 50K. Luckily, I passed. Damn sure luck. I risked like 2% per trade. But then I passed
Yeah.
and made some money with that. And then I showed it to my parents. I think, yeah. And then they were like, okay, you could take a leap year off. You could take a
Hmm.
year off with that. And then I actually started, making some money with that. So currently I'm 800K funded. Because of the TFT issue, we lost 400K, but now they're back. So we have to see if they give out payouts or not. I don't think they would, but yeah, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
I would say. Which platform are you using right now, Sam?
I'm gonna be using one of one funding. I don't know if you heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I think the PV trading also uses that
Yeah. Hmm.
official PV trading. Yeah, it's pretty good platform, I'd say. Okay.
Yeah, and one thing TJR talks about is he like at the beginning of his boot camp he talked about that
Hmm.
um he he didn't tell he told his parents about his trading and they were just like your parents. They didn't understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
exactly.
I didn't tell my parents at first, but I already knew they
Okay.
were going to be supportive. But most
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
when you tell other people, they're gonna think that what you're doing is
yeah,
crazy. It can
yeah, yeah,
it can mess up your psychology, and it'll make you
yeah,
think
damn
that
sure.
what you're doing is not right. And
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Mm.
going off of that, it's also important to stick to one mentor and one strategy because when you're
No,
hopping around
definitely, definitely.
different
Yeah,
strategies, yeah, you're gonna
yeah,
get so confused, and it's not nothing's
yeah.
gonna make any sense.
No, no, yeah, completely agree with that. Because it comes back to the psychology, right? It is essentially a statistical edge. So you need a particular strategy. You need to stick with it at least for 2, 3 months. Because first month you wouldn't be even trading the strategy. You would be basically knowing the strategy more. You would be essentially live testing the strategy. So the first month doesn't even count. So after the first month, you would know what the basic rules are and what you shouldn't be breaking, right? So once you know that, you would have to at least give out, I'd say, 2 months, maybe even after 2 months after following the strategy A to Z 100%, if you're still not profitable, then you might consider switching the strategy. Or else, I mean, no person on this industry would have stuck to the strategy for 2 months straight.
Hmm.
After realizing that, yes, definitely he would. But in the starting, no one would actually stick to any strategy. They would just want easy money in a week. If they get a losing week, they're done. They would just randomly type on YouTube Forex easy strategies and whatnot,
Yeah.
and then just watch another strategy. That's the reason SMC and ICT, they're not highlighted because they're really hard to learn, and people don't like hard stuff, especially in trading. They think that SMMA, what do you call that? The EMA indicator, EMA 60, whatever is that,
Yeah.
it will make them profitable if they really stick to the rules. Not the indicator. The support and resistance will make you profitable if you stick to the rules. But but the psychology won't allow you to actually stick to those rules because it doesn't give you the reason why the market is moving in the first place, right?
Yeah.
ICT and SMC does give you the reason. Here's the liquidity, here's the retail stop loss. It does give you all the reasons, but support and resistance is just a myth, right? Even if it's real, you need a proper understanding of why it is going, why it is moving in such directions and all. So that is the thing that traders fail to understand,
Hmm.
and they'll still stick to the easier strategies.
Yeah, and that's why liquidity is definitely one of the most important things you can
Yeah,
learn because
yeah,
those stop losses are resting above that, and the banks are going to
yeah,
target that
exactly,
every time.
exactly. So that's the thing. So you're funded 10K with that one-of-one funding.
No, not yet. I'm still on demo.
Yeah, 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 challenge phase, right? So how long have you been doing that for
Uh,
the
it,
funding phase?
it's probably been about a month, I think, or 2 weeks,
Okay.
something like that.
Uh,
Because
all right.
before I was
Okay.
on a live account, but I wanted to
All right.
go back to demo because
Yeah.
I was losing money, so I just wanted to refine my
Mm.
strategy.
Uh, I mean, did you use it for like 2 months at least? I would say I would say 90% of all the strategies work, except
Hmm.
the indicators bullshit. 90% of any strategy will work, especially if you're in the SMC and ICT industry. They are bound to work if you only put the real effort, and you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
There are no specific rules like, let's just say Judah swing. I think you're familiar with the Judah swing, right? It just takes the Asian high
Oh,
and it
yeah.
just
Yeah.
falls.
Yeah.
That is essentially it's essentially bullshit. It's an entry model, right? You need to have the daily bias, you need to have the weekly bias, and you need to break down into the lower time frame from the higher time frame to get the setup. You can't be expecting to win if you go against the trend, or maybe if it's a reversal point, you might win. But in the long run, I would say with the trend, any trades you will win, right?
Hmm.
If let's just say the daily bias, I would anticipate is sells. I would wait for a buy side liquidity to be swept, and I would wait for a good market structure shift, and I would wait for the retracement and enter. That's essentially it, right?
Yeah.
It's really that simple, but people don't understand that. They just don't believe that it should be that simple. Maybe you need to have some indicators in that shit and this shit. You need to have the moving averages added to that. They just wouldn't understand that unless or until they really watch the ICT videos or whatever.
Yeah.
In TRC trading, what did he actually teach you? Is it a good, let's just say in ICT, he has a shit ton of videos,
Yeah.
right? So in the TRG trading, are they similar to that?
Uh,
Or
yeah, he has a whole boot camp. It's about 52 days where he
okay,
talks about like the first day is about psychology and the second day will be
okay,
about like strategy.
oh,
So every other day
okay,
is about psychology. So I think
That's good.
that
Yeah.
that really helped me in the long run because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
psychology is what I ultimately struggled with. And then I go
Yeah.
back to those videos and I realize like I learned this. Like I don't need to be struggling with this.
Yeah. Exactly.
hmm And the thing, like I said, the thing with me was just trying to force trades. I know a lot of people struggle with
Yeah.
revenge trading. That never really happened
Yeah.
with me, but it
Okay.
was just mostly forcing my bias, like taking a trade that I kind of knew it wasn't a good trade
Yeah.
just because I hadn't
Yeah.
traded in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing, yeah. Revenge trading, and essentially it's an over trading type of thing, because if you don't find the setup, you just have to put yourself away from the charts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I only look at London or New York session if I get the setup. So that's essentially like 3 hours of my day. So I just put alerts every morning, and I want to see the price go tap into one of them. That's external buy side and external sell side. So once that happens, I would wait for a market structure shift. Again, it's a really simple process, but I would say it's complicated for all the beginners, and not in a technical aspect, but to understand the daily bias. Um, to anticipate the daily candle closing, whether it's a bullish or bearish, really matters, because then again you have to go to the monthly, and monthly is not really that useful, but still
hmm
you would just go to the monthly and give it a little look, and go to the weekly. Weekly is really good because almost all the weekly FEGs, all the weekly imbalances work,
Yeah.
right? None of the weekly FEGs, it doesn't happen that they do not get respected. All the weekly FEGs get
Yeah.
respected. But again, with the weekly trend, you put out the daily bias with the breakers and something like that. You go to the 4 hour, then you'll get a clearer picture of what that particular day is about to happen. So you might be wrong, you might be right. If you're wrong, you just have to accept it. That's part of the game, right? So if you're right, once the daily bias is really good, you shouldn't be aiming for the reversals, right? Even if that particular moment is a reversal, I will take the loss, but I wouldn't go against the trend,
Yeah.
I would say. So my weakness, I would say, is a consolidating market. If it's a consolidating market, I would have to switch a particular aspect of the strategy. I would trade all the reversals. So then the win rate would be less, but again, you can be making money in the consolidation as well. But again, with the trend, it's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Even in the CPI, I think in the this month beginning, we had the CPI, and I just accepted it. If it's a loss, it's a
hmm
loss. But luckily, it just didn't hit the stop loss, and it just fell rapidly. So that was one of my biggest trade. It was it's $6,800 win. So that's the biggest trade of me, because I personally risked 0.25% per trade. I blew all my challenges. I blew all of my challenges. I don't care if I pass or if I win. If I pass, it's good because I'm accumulating my capital anyway. So I just buy a bunch of challenges from all the different platforms, and I just connect, because the MT5 and MT4 are not available now. It's really hard for me to do the copy trading, etc.
hmm
So I had to find a platform where it has Match Trader, not Match Trader. I think it's C Trader. C Trader has a copy trading feature. So now it is really helpful for that. So I just connect all the things with my copy trader. In the challenge phase, I risk like 3 to 4% per trade. So either I blow it on the same day, or I save it for the day or two. Maybe then I'll pass. But again, in the live account, I only risk 0.25%, which essentially means that I have to lose 40 trades in a row to blow the account. So
Mm.
that part really gives me the confidence that it's almost close to impossible that I'll be blowing the account. Not even a baby will lose 40 trades in a
Yeah.
row, right? So that gives me a really good confidence over that. So I would suggest all the people, once they have enough capital. I mean, I'm not asking all the people to risk 0.25% on a 5K account. No. Once you have at least 200K or 300K account, you don't require one person to make a lot of money. If you're really consistent, you can make the same amount of money with 0.25%. 1 is to 2, 35% win rate. It's really good. You don't even need 50% win rate, right? So that's the good part I feel in risking less, because there's nothing to lose
Yeah.
essentially. Even if I lose, it's almost negligible,
hmm
right? You can't be losing forever. So that I think it's a big advantage over this. How
Yeah.
much would you be risking, Sam?
Um, on my live, I used to risk 2%
All
or
right.
two to 1%, but I
Okay.
know on the funded, um, first trade I'll risk 2%, and if I
Hmm.
lose next trade
Okay.
I'll risk 1%. and if I lose again,
Okay.
the next trade I'll risk 0.5%, and then
Okay.
so it's even then like it takes a long time for you to actually blow the
Hmm.
account if you're splitting it in half each time. But I probably
Uh,
wouldn't
bec-
go below
uh,
0.25.
yeah, because I would say you could start risking 0.25%. If you lose that, you could risk 0.5. If you lose that, you could risk
Yeah,
1%, right? So you wouldn't, there's a low probability that you would be losing all the three trades, right? All the three trades or four trades in a row. So even if one of them is a winner, you would be making all the three trades in a row. I actually tested that for a while, but I personally think it's not a public opinion, but I personally think sticking on to a specific risk management will get you the
yeah,
consistency, right? So because essentially in prop firms you do not have the amount that they give you. You only have 10% of that. So
yeah,
you risking 2% is risking 20% of your capital, of your allowed capital, if the drawdown is 10%, right? So I think it should be less than 1%, I would say, because for me, full porting means using 1% or more. So I wouldn't go for that. But yeah, it depends on the capital. If I have a 5K live account or a 10K live account, I definitely risk all the things because I don't care if that blows, right? I will stay consistent on what makes me more money. Not
hmm
if I have a 5K live account right now, I would risk the full. I would risk 4% on a single trade, but the trade will be definitely on due to my analysis. It's not a gamble trade, but yeah, the same trade that I would risk on a 100K account with 0.25%, I would risk the same thing here with a 4% because it's less capital and it doesn't really matter once you have a huge capital. So until or unless you have that much capital, you should be sticking on to lesser percentage for
yeah,
you to get
hmm
consistency. Yeah,
yeah,
because ultimately you can't do much with $100 payout or even a $500 payout. You can't do much, right? So is the $500 payout more or you getting the consistent, the original process more? I would say you have to go with the process,
yeah,
right? Even a $500 payout is not gonna make you money for a while. It's just a one time payout. You'll still be back to step one with psychology. So that I think it should come back.
yeah. And when so I started out on demo, and
Yeah.
when I went to a live account, I was thinking it was gonna be easy, but my first
Mm.
trade, like, it's so different when you're actually risking real money. Like the
Yeah,
psychology
exactly,
is so
exactly.
different.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
was nervous and I had never felt that before. And so
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people go through that after going
yeah,
from a live to a funded. I think it's actually
yeah,
even
yeah,
worse because the possibility of everybody thinks they're gonna get
exactly.
rich, and you just
Yeah,
have to like you have to chill and realize that this is a process and you're not just gonna
yeah,
get rich. Like one
yeah,
funded
exactly.
account, just because you pass the funded account doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's the real challenge. Once you pass the account, then the real challenge begins. Because
Hmm
until or unless you pass the account, you won't actually face the real psychology. Yes, you will face some psychology aspects that you may or may not control in the challenge phase. But after you pass, you are essentially thinking that I'm one step, back from getting my payout, right? From paying my bills or paying something else. So that particular aspect will fuck you over. Even in the Trading in the Zone book, he actually, I think in its chapter 11 or 10, he tells you that the only way to become really consistent and not give a shit about a single trade is to separate the money aspect. You shouldn't even be looking at your balance, right? You shouldn't be looking at the balance. That's the reason I take all the trades on my TradingView app directly. I connect the least size account, which is a 5K account, to all the other accounts. I wouldn't check the balance unless or until I have a payout coming soon, or else I wouldn't be checking the balance, right? So once you check the balance, you'll be in a dreaming phase. No matter how good you are with trading, no matter how experienced you are, which will ultimately result you to blow the account, which can result you to blow the account. So yeah,
hmm
that's the thing.
And dang, I just lost my train of thought.
So you ever traded ICT particularly,
Um,
or I mean,
not not specifically, but I
so what's your
did.
exact strategy, Sam?
All right,
Just
so
a brief, yeah.
uh, first I find an hourly high that I want
Mm,
to get
okay,
swept, hourly high or low,
that's good.
depending
Yeah,
on daily bias. And
yeah,
then I'll go to the 5 minute and I'll wait for it to
mm,
sweep and then a break of structure
yeah,
and then either any fair value gap to get filled or order block and
yeah,
then just any reaction off of that. And then I'll target fair value gaps, order blocks, or
yeah,
lows. Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
So
that's actually, yeah. Essentially, that's what we also do. Not nothing much different because all the liquidity concepts are essentially the same. If the trend is to a particular direction, you have to wait for the opposite liquidity to be swept, and then you see an impulse move. And I personally think, in my particular teachings, I teach all my students in a way that I give more preference to days. Right, on a Monday and Friday, you don't get a lot of volatility unless you have a news, right?
yeah,
So on a Tuesday in the London session, it would most be London session. In the New York session, you would find excellent setups. Same goes for the Wednesday and Thursday. But again, Friday would be sort of a consolidation, or either it just goes straight up to the target. It doesn't give a shit about New York session or
yeah.
London session. So most of my setups are during Tuesday evenings and Wednesdays and Thursdays. Mondays, rarely we get a setup. But yeah, I try to take all the setups that I get. I wouldn't just leave a setup because I think it's less probable on my own. If the rules are met, I would just take it. If it's a loss, it's a loss. If it's a win, it's a win. It's good.
Yeah.
So for the statistics to prove that it's profitable, you need to take every single trade. You can't just be like, I feel that this is going to be a winner, so I'm going to take it. I feel this is going to be a loser, so I'm not going to take it. You can't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in taking all the trades equally and treating them all
Yeah.
equally with the RR or whatever. So
Because I
what would you?
I used
Yeah, yeah.
to
Sorry.
get like nervous whenever
Yeah,
like my trade would come. Like I would see
yeah,
it and I would miss it because I was so nervous to take
yeah.
it. But you just have
And
to
it would hit
stick
your
to your
take profit.
strategy.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Like if
Exactly.
if it's
You just have to stick to the
if you
strategy.
see your
Yeah,
setup, you just got to take it. It even
exactly.
if it's a win or a loss, if you stuck to your rules, then that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
yeah. People keep on thinking that the past five, six trades will affect your strategy. No, it doesn't. In the Douglas book, personally, he at least asks us to forget about the past 20 trades, analyze and make a bookmark of whatever of the past 20 trades, and then analyze your profitability, how much are your drawdown or how much are you in profit, and according to which is essentially a month. So he asks us to take a month and take whatever strategy you need and only stick to that particular strategy, whatever strategy, trend lines, whatever, SMA, whatever. Just stick to the strategy, and after a month, if you had 20 trades or more, then write it down in a checklist, and then you have to find out where you're missing, right? On which particular days are you missing? On he asks us to journal, right? So even in my personal findings, I asked all my students to journal every single trade. I don't want the RR or if it's a loss or a win. I just want them to write what do you call the emotions which they are facing in a trade, so that they can reflect upon that on the next day and then think, yes, this emotion is essentially me hypnotizing not to take the trade. So once he sees the journal of him in the previous day, at least this day he wouldn't repeat the same mistake, right?
Yeah.
You have to be accountable of your losses. You have to write the reasons why you're losing that. It's just not always statistics, right? It's 90% your fault that you're losing because they don't have the psychology or emotional control. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever trades that they don't place and they think that it might go to TP, it might go to stop loss, 90% of the time it just goes to the TP because they did all the analysis right, but the only thing that stopped them is fear,
Yeah.
right? Fear of losing.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have to slowly remove that. And the only way to do it is to understand that there are no shortcuts. Again, back to square one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard for them to understand that
Um,
unless they lose a bunch of money with that. Yeah.
is there any times that you don't trade? Because I don't trade. Me personally, I don't trade in December because I know it's like
Uh,
during the holidays and it's really like either crazy
okay.
volatile or no volume.
Actually, I think 2023, October, November, December, and 2024 January were the most profitable months for me personally. In the 4 years of trading, personally, those 4 months were the most profitable because I don't care about the volatility or whatever. If I find the setup, even if there is a very low volatility, I would just take it and it would just run to the TP or stop loss, whatever. But I believe that just because the banks are on a holiday or all the BlackRock is on a vacation, the market still moves, right? The
Yeah.
first step, I believe that yes, ICT says that it runs on algorithm. I personally believe that it runs on algorithm, or else it wouldn't be that specific to that time frame, right? London session and New York session exists only because of the algorithm. Because at that time, the algo might kick in, might not. I don't care. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are making money with any strategy.
Yeah.
So I believe that we should stick to the strategy no matter what, no matter the volatility or whatever. You can stick to the strategy. At the end of the month, if you are in a losing state, take that month and use another month as example. If you're in a losing streak for 2 months straight, then definitely there should be something wrong because there's no way that you can't make money in a 2 month straight period. Maybe 1 month it's because of you 50%, it's because of the volatility. You can throw it on that. But again, 2 months, I don't think it's possible to lose 2 months if you're really doing what you're supposed to do in a particular
Mhm.
strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
In
that.
February, I think January, February was
Yeah.
like the worst time for me personally because
Yeah.
everything was at all-time highs, pretty much,
Yeah.
the S&P and
Yeah. Yeah.
Nasdaq. So there's not very
Yeah.
much like to base anything off of, and most of the time
Exactly.
when market would open, it would just go straight up. So like
Yeah.
no liquidity
So
sweep or
you actually
anything.
hold the trades or you
No,
just take it intraday?
it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
intraday.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't take a trade unless there's a liquidity sweep. So if it just goes
Yeah,
straight up,
exactly.
then
Exactly.
there's
Hmm.
nothing. I don't take it.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's your average RR? I would say.
Um, I I try to get a 2 to 1. I try
Yeah.
to, but
Yeah.
it happens sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But I always take partial profits.
Okay. Okay.
Like if there's a fair value gap or
Hmm.
a order block
Yeah.
in between,
Yeah.
then I'll take partial profits. I always try to do
Yeah.
that.
Makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I personally never took partials. I only put break even where I think the price might retrace back. So if it's a good break even point, I would just put break even and leave it. Or like you said, I wouldn't aim more than 1:2. It's just being greedy. Sometimes I would aim 1:3 based on the liquidity levels once again. If I really find it really useful, I would just trail my stop loss slowly, slowly, slowly. Especially in the new states, I don't put the TPs because you never know where, unless it's a really NFP news. Let's just say it's an NFP Friday. So in NFP Fridays, the only news I don't trade is the NFP. Even
Hmm.
CPIs I do trade. So
Yeah.
most of the times I trade CPI and all the things. But on an NFP, you cannot really predict the market because NFP is the only news where it goes both sides, right? You don't know which side the original move would be. So even if it goes here, it might come back down at the same speed. There's no way you would be able to take off the trade. So again, there will be a lot of slippage during, especially NFP, but CPI and all the other news. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you'll completely be devastated. So essentially, it has 50% luck and 50% analysis with all the news. So yeah, any beginner trader out there shouldn't even be trading any sort of news. It's not
Yeah.
even worth it for them.
I've never
So
traded
yeah,
CPI before. Are you actually
okay.
able to like predict it or is it just random?
No, like I said, I would risk really, really less. I mean, as you know, I would only risk 0.25%. So even if there is a slippage, let's just say 100% slippage, I would be losing how much? 0.5%, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about the results. But again, I go with my analysis. If there is a good setup, like I think it was on April 4, 5, 6, I don't know when the CPI was. This month
Mm-hmm.
there was a CPI. So we got a huge move. It was 700 points, which was 70 pips. It's not really huge, but that was the biggest trade. 1:14 trade.
Mm.
So we just predicted that it might fall due to the bias, and exactly at that time, the buy side was swept before the news actually came out. So there was a good retracement. We just wanted to enter because it's again a part of the strategy. Everything checked off in the checklist. So I just entered and left it to probability. So
Yeah.
yeah, the probability was on our side that day, and it doesn't mean that the next time I do it, I'll be the winner, right? It can be a loss, it can be a win. But yeah, risk management really plays a good, crucial role in the prop trading and not blowing the accounts, especially if you would have risked like 1 or 2%, there's a high probability that you would be losing like 3 to 4% because of the slippage,
Yeah.
especially because the market would just open at that level. There's nothing your stop loss could do, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's why risk really less. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's news or not, but yeah, it gives me a confidence to actually trade, or else I wouldn't be really confident to take the setup.
Hmm.
0.25 is absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah.
So even if I lose, there's always a next day. So that's the thing.
For me,
But yeah,
I don't trade CPI,
yeah,
PPI, or FOMC or non-farm
okay,
news because
yeah.
I think it just like I don't ever really see a setup. Like it's really
Yeah.
just like
Ah,
one-way
it's really
moves.
rare. Definitely,
Yeah.
it's not like every CPI you get a setup. No, maybe 2 months you'll get a really good setup, and you will make the monthly RR in that single trade. So I wouldn't miss that. But yeah, if I don't find a setup, I wouldn't be taking the trade, even if
Hmm.
it's news, even if it's not a news. But yeah, every single setup, I don't care if it's except the NFP. I would take all the news trades and all the non-news trades, except the NFP because NFP is unpredictable.
Yeah.
Even the CPI is mostly unpredictable, but yeah, it at least goes in a single direction. It doesn't go like up and down rapidly. So yeah, that's a good part with the CPI and all.
So what all do you use in your strategy?
So I essentially use liquidity, right? The 15-minute time frame is my go-to time frame. I go to the daily at the beginning of the day. I just go to the daily. I just realize if it's a bearish day or a bullish day. I would just have a hazy sort of formation. Maybe it might close in a bullish, but again, you know that in a London session is essentially a fake move, right? All
Hmm.
the real moves get delivered in a New York session. So if I anticipate the day to be really bearish, I would anticipate buys during London. Okay. If the setup really good, forms in the London where the sell side liquidity has been swept, the 15-minute external liquidity has been swept, and there's a good market structure shift in the 5-minute time frame, and I will wait for the retracement, then I'll just enter. It's really that simple. It's like a 4-step process. The liquidity, with the trend and analysis. That's about it.
Hmm.
I've been using
And
that for like 4 years now,
and how do
so
you
it's pretty
find
good
daily
for that.
bias?
Daily bias is not something that you actually find. It's not as easy as a market sector shift or whatever. Um, I don't even know how to explain the daily bias because there's actually no way of explaining daily bias without having the experience with it. You have to just visualize that the daily candle will form in that particular direction. It might form in, yeah, there are certain aspects. Let's just say it's on a weekly fair value gap, right?
Hmm.
And it's a Tuesday evening, and there is a big news. So I would say, in my scenario, because liquidity setup, I would, if the liquidity is swept, then I would suggest going for buys rather than sells. So that's essentially how I predict the bias. The candle formation most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, days do play a major role in my setup. On a Monday, I wouldn't anticipate daily bias to be against the trend. On a Thursday or a Wednesday, which is a high volatility day, I would anticipate reversals if there are good news, right? Any news, not only the FOMC or whatever. I wouldn't trade in that news. The news will just give it extra volatility for my trade to be pushed, be it in London, be it in New York, whichever setup it is.
Hmm.
So that's essentially how I take my setups.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like you said, some Fridays there's when there's no news, like sometimes it's just choppy, but last Friday I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
on Nasdaq it
Sometimes
just
it
went
just
straight
shoots
down.
up. It just
Yeah.
shoots up
Yeah.
randomly. Yeah. So there's nothing we can
Yeah.
actually do with that.
Yeah.
So that's just like a missing day for us, I guess. We just
Yeah.
have to stop, worrying about that single day, right? So that's the thing.
Hmm.
So yeah. So what I just wrote a couple of questions for you. What would be your best advice for any beginner trader?
Um, First, you have to
Yeah.
make sure that you are that you're going into this wanting to get the skill and not
Yeah.
wanting to get rich
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you can ask anybody who's actually really a good trader,
Yeah.
they're going to tell you
Yeah.
that this is not a get rich quick scheme. You're going
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
fail over and over and over. You're going to lose money,
Yeah.
and nobody actually, like, you're not going to get rich quick. Like,
Yep.
the first thing you're going to do is you're going to try to learn your strategy, and you're going to lose and lose and lose. And
Yep.
then the second thing is, like I said, stick to one strategy, stick to one
Yeah.
mentor, and just try to learn that specific skill. Like you said,
Exactly.
every strategy can be profitable. It just depends on your psychology and how you use it. If you stick to your trading
Exactly.
plan, have a specific trading plan, you're gonna be fine.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then
Exactly, man.
also you have to make sure that your risk management is good. Like
Yeah.
you can't risk 10% of your account because you want to
Yeah.
make
Exactly.
money. Like you have
Yep.
to, you're just trying to live to trade another day. That's what I
Yeah.
always heard.
Exactly.
You just want to
Exactly. When you
survive.
over risk, you're just risking. Yeah. You don't know when you're gonna, lose the power to make magical trades, right? You might be lucky one day, you might be lucky the next day, but the loss needs only one day to blow the entire account. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, man. Mm. So I would say all the beginners would have to go through the process, the same process that we already went through, losing a bunch of money, going through signal groups, I would say. If you don't have a I would say just go to any mentorship. Preferably, obviously, a good mentorship would be good. The ICT has a free mentorship. All the mentorship videos are free in YouTube in the ICT,
Yeah.
but it's really, really long. It's really long and it's really complicated for beginners to even understand, right? Even I feel it's a really bit complicated for me to understand the 2016 mentorship videos or 2017 mentorship videos. It really doesn't get the click, but as you said, let's just take a person who is TRG trading. He genuinely makes money through trading, not by selling courses. So that's the difference, and those are the kind of people that you would actually want to learn trading. So yeah, whichever strategy you have to put, the mentor has to personally attach to you, and then he'll help you grow in that particular
Hmm.
niche. Whatever the niche is in dropshipping or whatever, you need to have a proven mentor who is making money in that particular industry, and not by selling some fake courses or bullshit like that.
Yeah.
You need to learn from him. You need to find a person like that. And it's really hard in these days, especially 90% of all the social media influencers are scammers, right?
Yeah.
They just book a Lambo, whatever. They just show all the fake wins. They never post their what do you call the
Yeah.
entries or what.
Yeah.
They never post the entries. They just think the people are dumb enough to just join the course, and people are really dumb enough to join the course based off of the Instagram posts, right? So let's just take who is Mamba FX. Mamba FX,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to comment on him, but I think he's definitely a
Yeah.
scammer. If you
I thought
really
the same
looked at
thing.
his strategy, yeah, exactly. $1 million deposit, and then he just made $2-3 million in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you had the basic knowledge in Forex, you would understand that he's a scammer. But his business model is to get as many retailers, let's just say the day one Forex traders, into his Telegram group and just make a bunch of money with that. I
Yeah.
actually joined his Telegram group. A lot of people did, in the beginning. So I was also a victim for that. I was to blame on that, but yeah, he's not profitable. Definitely isn't. He edits all his signals out and he does all the crazy shit. But yeah, he's making a bunch of money with that, so he's a good salesperson, I would say.
Yeah. Hmm. And a lot of
So
people do
yeah,
that too. There's
yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people on Instagram who just
I mean,
want you to
90%
buy
of
their
all the people
course.
are other things.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about HFT bots? HFT bots are used to pass the challenges. I mean, if you really had this, let's just go to the HFT prop firm space for a second. I personally believe that HFT prop firms has one of the best rules to actually make a disciplined trader. Let's just say Cortana, right? They don't give you the payouts if you had a lucky trade, right? And they determine that by you have 21 days and you couldn't get, the biggest trade shouldn't be, equal to the payout size or something like that. So you have to become consistent in order to even get the payout from Cortana. So I personally believe all the rules in the HFT space are designed to make you a better person. But again, it has its backlashes. Not all the HFT prop firms are genuine. They don't give out payouts. Most of them don't. Cortana, I personally did receive a lot of payouts from the students itself. So I would say Cortana is pretty good. And yeah, HFT bots are here for a while. So till the MT4 and MT5 disappears, you can make use of that. And yeah, that's the thing.
What broker do you use? Do you for your live account?
For my personal account, I use Xmas, and IC Markets. Yeah, Xmas really has what do you call? It's a raw spread, and I would say IC Market is better than Xmas because it only has a $5 commission, but Xmas has like a $7 commission on that on a lot. I only trade Euro USD, so it's pretty good. It's a standard pair in all the
Yeah,
forex space. So yeah, it's less manipulation, clear insights, and all. But yeah, slowly I think we have to be switching to futures also.
yeah,
Not just buy a platform. It's essentially the same, right? Even if you trade on here and that, the analysis is same. But yeah, it'll be hard for us to accumulate the capital once again. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, slowly I think we can switch to that. I don't know till when the problems are going to be, here for but like Bitcoin just flew in 2011, now the prop firm space is that kind of opportunity. If you really had the skill, you would definitely make a lot of money with that.
Yeah,
Andrew TFX, he's one of the most genuine guy out there, right? He's one of the biggest funded trader out there. He has like $6 million in funded prop firms. So he's making a shit of money. Even in the live accounts, he risks 2%, I think, in all his accounts.
mm-hmm.
So he either loses all the accounts or he makes all the accounts. Again, statistics, reliability, he wouldn't be losing 10 trades in a row, maybe. That's the reason he's still making a lot of money. He doesn't even have a course or something like that. So definitely he is making money through trading. And those are the people that we should actually respect. And they're really rare to find.
Yeah.
The TRJ trading, the PV trading, and all those guys. They are really rare to find. So yeah, that's the thing.
And the thing about TJR is he learned from ICT originally,
Yeah.
and then
Okay, okay.
he kind of made his own strategy. Um,
Okay.
the one of the biggest things I learned from him was just like any other skill, you can't just watch a YouTube video and magically be good at it. You have
Yeah.
to apply it like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
basketball.
They'll never apply the strategy that they learned on their charts, right? That's the problem. They think that it's really that easy to find a liquidity zone and wait for a market structure shift.
Hmm.
If it was really that easy, they have to, change the probability, right? In trading, 95% of all the people lose their money. They
Yeah.
put the statistics there for a reason, right? It really wouldn't be that easy. All the people, they just think that I'm some sort of special kid. I found the magic video. I found the magic indicator.
Hmm.
No, you did not find anything. You're going to go down a deep hole of sadness, regrets, and all the things. But yeah, that's the only way to actually come out of the hole, right? Once
Yeah.
you fall into the hole, you have to go through the process, or else you're not becoming a profitable trader just by copying signals from other guys. What if, like you said, what if he just stops, right? There's no chance for you to make money again.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. And yeah, I mean, that's essentially it to all the trading communities and trading spaces out there. None of them are legit, and if you're really lucky, you would find a mentor that who really teaches you,
Yeah.
like you said. And I would say the free content is always out there on YouTube. Any strategy will be profitable. Even ICT has his entire private mentorship videos out there. So if you're really that determined enough, you should be able to go to YouTube, watch the 2022 mentorship. It has 41 videos. Each video is like an hour long. So yeah, it's too much, but yeah, I say those 41 videos would be more than enough than watching any strategy or paying anyone any money.
Yeah.
But again, you need a live market. You need to put the learning in the live chart to actually make money, or else you won't be understanding anything. The first thing. That's the thing, Sam.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. So you got any questions?